Happy New Year. We made it to 2026. May this year, as my pastor says, be our most productive year yet. Today we're going to be talking about goals. Many times beginning of the year, we have many goals that we're looking to achieve during the year, and we're still on fire at this point. So let's talk about how to maintain that fire. How do we set goals that are effective? 7 characteristics of effective goals. A lot of the material I'm going to be sharing is from an awesome lady and partner that I have learned so much from over the years. Her name is Terri Savelle Foy. You can check out her website, terri.com. It's going to be in the description below. Tons of information. She has a YouTube channel. So just take this as an introduction and then go on her channel and feed and feast. She has so much to teach and to train and to help you grow and make sure that this year our goals are achieved. So there's an exercise that Miss Terri talks about, which I'm going to go through with you, about finding out what are my goals for the next 12 months or 18 months. And the exercise is very simple. So close your eyes and imagine that you are in December of 2026 and you're talking to a friend or colleague or family member and you're telling them, this has been my most productive, most amazing year yet. What has to happen this year for you to say something like that, for you to make such a statement? Articulate exactly what they are and write them down. So those are your goals for 2026. You have 11 plus months to achieve them. So characteristic number 1, set smaller goals. Now it's okay to have 5-year goals, 10-year goals. Maybe you want to retire in 10 years or in 5 years, but set smaller goals that you can measure, achieve, accomplish, and check off as done within 12 to 18 months is usually recommended. So set smaller goals, because the smaller the goal, the shorter the time frame, it increases your focus. They say the most busy day of the year is the day before your vacation. So that is because you are hyper focused and on achieving all these different things that you need to achieve before you take off on your vacation. So when you set smaller goals, it increases your focus so that you can achieve them as you ought to within the time frame that you have. Number 2, write them down. She talks about a study at a university where this professor talked to several different people regarding goals and whether they had them written down and whether they were reviewing them regularly. A whole lot of people did not have goals. They thought, maybe I have goals, maybe I'm not sure. They were indefinite. There were a smaller percent of them, maybe 16, that said, yes, they definitely have goals, but they haven't written them down. There were about 3% that said, yes, they've written them down. And then there was just 1% that said, we have goals, we've written them down, and we review them regularly. And she said, those people were the millionaires. So the millionaires leaving success tips and clues are the ones that wrote their goals down and reviewed them regularly. So write down your goals. Be sure to put them in writing. Number 3, your goals must be specific. Have you ever said, I'm going to lose more weight, I'm going to make more money, I'm going to get better with social skills, I'm going to do more? It sounds like, oh yeah, that's great. But how do you measure that if it's not specific? So if you lose 1 pound in 2026, have you achieved the goal? So you have to be more specific. Instead of saying I'm going to lose more weight, say I'm going to lose maybe 20 pounds to get to my ideal weight of 145, something like that. So whatever is specific, that's how your goal should be written down in all the different facets of your life, whether it's weight, whether it's education, whether it's anything, social life. I'm going to have 2 new friends that I make this year. Whatever it is, make it specific. In line with that is number 4. Goals must be measurable. So when you make it specific, you're able to measure how you've achieved that goal. So for instance, I want to make more money on specific, but I want to save $500,000 by December. That is specific. And so then we break it down. What am I saving this month? and next month and each month in order to get to that amount. Now, that might be a big amount. So maybe you want to save $5,000 by December. So then you do the same thing. You measure, what do I need to save this month, next month, and all to get there by December. So make it measurable. You might say, I want to get smarter this year. I want to get more sharp in my cognition, thinking about things, and I want to get smarter. How do you measure that, right? So you can say instead, I'm going to read one book a month, self-help book, self-development books, or whatever area you're wanting to improve in your knowledge, those type of books. I'll read one book a month. I'll read one book every 2 months, one book a week. Those things are measurable and they are guaranteed to help you get smarter in that area. So just make it specific and make it measurable. So for instance, you might say, I want to get closer to God. So how do we measure that? By December, do we say, oh, you're 5 inches or 20 inches closer? How do you measure it? But doing those things that you know would help you get closer to God. Prayer, studying, reading. So you could say, I'm going to read my Bible for 30 minutes every day. I'm going to pray for 30 minutes every day. So doing those things that you know would help you improve and grow spiritually, then you can measure those things. You know, so they say focusing on the results yield frustration, but focusing on the process yields the result. So if you say, oh, I want to be closer to God, or I want to lose this weight, and you're just check every time on the scale and you don't seem to be getting any closer to your weight loss goals, it could yield frustration. But when you focus on the process, meaning maybe you're doing intermittent fasting, maybe you're cutting out things that you shouldn't be eating if you're trying to lose weight, you're doing those things consistently, it's going to bring the results that you're looking for. So focus on the process, know the results that you're looking for, know the goal that you're shooting for, and then focus on the process that's going to get you there. Number 5, so they say set goals that are 50 to 55% achievable. Goals that you know you can achieve, but they still require some challenge. They require some hurdle that you need to cross. They require some effort. If I said my goal is to breathe the next 5 minutes, that's not a challenging goal. That's not something that is worth, my setting as a goal, because I expect that would naturally just happen. If someone was at the hospital though, and they were told that they could die in a minute, that could be a goal for that person. So set goals that you know are achievable and realistic, and they involve some effort on your part. 50 to 55% achievable. Number 6, goals must have a timeline. So when you don't set a timeline, that's just a recipe for disaster, because you don't have any time frame, you don't have any pressure, you don't have any focused time, concerted effort period to achieve that goal. They say that goals are just dreams with a deadline, right? So remember our exercise earlier where you thought about all the things that have to happen in order for this year to be your most productive year yet, your best year yet. By December, you have to have achieved those things, right? So that's the timeline. So it's your dream with a deadline, and that's your goal. So your goal has to have a timeline for it to be effective. Effective meaning that it's going to push you and help you to do something in order to achieve it. Number 7, goals must be reviewed regularly. So that's where the vision boards come in handy. It could be a vision board, it could be a journal that you write all your goals in, but the key is to make sure that you are reviewing them regularly. I used to write goals in the past where I would just write my yearly income goals and then I'll toss it somewhere and forget where I tossed it and never review them. And of course, likewise, I did not achieve those goals. But once you start reviewing your goals regularly, keeping them before your face, then it helps you to run towards that. There's a scripture verse in Habakkuk 2, chapter 2, verse 2, and it talks about write the vision down, make it plain, so he that sees it will run with it. When you have that vision board or you have that journal in place with all your goals and you're reviewing them regularly, it helps set your RAS filter. Have you heard about the reticular articulation system? I did some Google search on it, and it says the RAS is the subconscious filter in your brain that helps you notice, focus on, and attract the things that align with your goals. So it's that system that filters what your brain pays attention to, highlights things connected to what you desire or believe, and it helps you recognize opportunities you've ignored before. It reinforces habits and direction through repetition and focus. So why it matters? So vision boards work because they keep your desires in front of your eyes long enough for your RAS to notice opportunities, connect the dots, filter out distractions, and highlight actions that move you towards your goal. You see that? So that's just on Google. You could search on Google. You can search online about the RAS filter, R-A-S. And that's the whole idea of putting your goals on the vision board or putting your goals in your journals and just keeping it in front of your eyes and reviewing them regularly. So thanks for watching this video up to this point. May 2026 be indeed our most productive year yet. I encourage you to comment below and let me know what other tips, what other things that you implement and put in practice in your life to achieve your goals.